everyone. Welcome to the 12th podcast, I think it is now. Say hi to the cast.
12, you're right.
Yes.
Woo!
The best podcast.
Yay.
And I got a notification on my desktop to say that we are live, so it's actually working. That's great.
Woo!
Hi everyone.
It's working here.
Hey.
It's a lovely day. Only a couple minutes late. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but we're good to go and everything is fine. So, well, I guess we should get started as usual. My name's Rose, or SpaceFlower. I've just changed my icon on the Discord server. Don't get confused. I'm Earth-chan's voice actor, and
I don't even know you anymore.
I'm here to have fun. And then next up we have recurring small child.
Okay. I'm next, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm Owa. I'm the voice actor for the greatest planet, which is Pluto, and I also do the comic for Soul Studios. Fuck you, Kata. Go die. Link, your turn.
I don't know how to follow up that. I'm Link. I'm one of the server mods and recently promoted to community management guy. So I'm the guy behind
He sucks. I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
No
not
bully.
really. Love you. I'm sorry. This is my week. I can have this. I'm kidding. Not really, but love you.
Cool. You've already got a meme jar for swearing, so.
Oh, I need to get the meme jar up and running.
Yep.
When we have the Americans on, I don't usually have to do it, but here we are.
This is Aussie time now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
You're part of
Real
our zone
Aussie
now.
hours.
Alright, so Kata, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Keta.
Alright,
Okay,
now.
alright.
Rabbit, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Rabbit. I'm one of the in-between animators, so I haven't done anything yet. Soon.
Soon, I promise. I promise.
Hopefully.
Yes. No, trust me, soon.
Yes.
They are starting to work.
Hopefully by the time we're doing that, I won't be in so much pain.
Yes. Alright, and then there's me at the very end. Comn, project lead and voice actor for NASA.
Sexy
I do various things. No.
How about
This is an official stream.
All around awesome person.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's wholesome time, guys. It's wholesome time. But yeah.
I'll take 50% awesome person. That works.
So, that's hi from us. As we do every week. So let's start off by talking about what we've done this week. Both in our personal lives and on the team, because it's just fun to talk about. I mean, Kata and I did something yesterday, and Rabbit actually. Rabbit came too. We did the first karaoke night on the server.
Yes, I did.
And
was there.
It was very interesting, because to start with...
lost her voice.
I was going to say, to start with, there was only 2 of us, which was quite funny. Then I did the unthinkable and did at here, and we got like 20 random people getting angry and then joining to see what was going on. People that had never been on the server before. And then a couple of them stayed for like half an hour. Like, I feel like we made a good impression on them.
And then they promptly left the server forever and never came back, so...
Pretty much.
Successful night.
I lost my voice.
Oh, so that's a win.
Yeah. Oh.
We had some good fun. And I think next time we'll put it at a time when more people can attend, aka Australian time, because despite trying to cater to the Americans, none of them turned up. So, you know.
Yes, it was 6 a.m. for me.
I
To be
turned
fair,
up.
I'm not in America right now. Otherwise, I would have showed up.
Yeah.
This is America.
Comms with the Nippon savages.
Well,
Hey, this is a live stream.
in a
I don't know
couple
if
of
this
weeks.
was a karaoke night, but they were singing along to Minecraft parodies at one point. This week, last week, at some point. I don't know. And a random girl came up to me and started hitting on me while I was listening to our team screaming. What was it? Viva La Vida parody of.
You're welcome.
Oh gosh, I remember
I
that.
forgot what it was called.
I was one of the singers.
Fallen.
Yeah,
It was the
you were
Captain
screaming
Sparkle
it in my
Minecraft.
ear, and then there was this chick just I was like, oh, you would not be flirting with me right now if you knew what I was listening to. Anyway, continue, Tyler. I'm sorry.
But yeah, karaoke was fun. Look forward to it next time. But remember, you don't have to come to an organised karaoke. Pretty much most of the time, you can just be, oi, I'm going to sing some songs, come join me. Because we do have, occasionally we have Incog Radio where he just randomly plays some guitar and stuff. And it's good fun. So if you like music, stick around on the server. That's all I've got to say.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do some karaoke right now.
No,
Nah, probably not.
just, no.
No.
For copyright purposes, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
That's why we chose not to do it on the podcast. But
That's why you sing the Minecraft versions.
come and sing with us.
Sing it without any music whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just basically just mute Mantaro and then
Oh yeah, and just
A lot
scream the
more fun.
lyrics. Yeah.
You can use Mentor. Just play it straight through your computer into your headphones and sing it out loud.
Yeah.
Nobody will get mad that way.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, that was one thing that happened this week. Did anyone else do anything exciting this week?
Well, speaking of songs, I recorded 5 covers of 5 different songs and posted them in team chat.
Yeah, we got some good music for the project update videos, so look forward to that, people.
Whoa.
It's going to be a good one this
I never
week.
put music in there.
You should.
That's all right.
You should sometime. It really adds.
Anyone else have anything they want to say before I get into the big stuff that's gone on this week?
I was gonna say you probably should wrap it up because you got all the big stuff happening for you.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah. I'll probably think of something dumb that I did this week later. Go on, Comn.
For this week was I got to go back home.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. My big thing for this week was I actually got to go back home and see my family for a little bit. Here where I was, and then I'm going right back later today.
Nice.
Whoa!
Families always
Travel.
good.
And family, yes.
Come.
Oh, I do have something. It's a short little rant.
Mhm.
So for one of the pictures I posted for the comic on our Tumblr, read it, please. It's not good, but anyway, I posted a picture to it, and I don't know, I started rambling in the tags, and then I decided, hey, what if I just write all the lyrics to Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne? So I spent like an hour, maybe even 2 hours, perfectly putting all the lyrics in so that they would form the song. And it took so long, and I was so proud when I got done. And when I submitted it, it cut off. Like, it didn't even get to the chorus.
Oh,
And
no.
I cried. And life was not worth living.
Yeah, well, I just pulled it up. Including after all the other tags, including Link should be media manager. I will challenge you on that, by the way. He was
He
a
changed
boy.
the
She
password.
was.
I had a panic attack because I thought we'd been hacked. But no, it was just
You
Link.
were
It was
linked
just
like
you.
that.
It was worse.
She was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? He was a punk. She did, and that's where the tags leave.
It was the whole song, and it took so long. Oh.
So
Anyway,
basically,
go on, Comn.
this week, I
Or
forgot
Flower,
what your
anyone?
name was. This week, we discovered character limits.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Alright.
Well,
So
Take it
just
away.
a quick recap of some of the stuff we've done this week on the server. We've done a lot of behind-the-scenes work. There's been some work on actually a few new emotes for the server, so look forward to that. The first few are getting posted alongside the update video this week, which will be coming out hopefully Monday again, although if it does get delayed, it'll come out Tuesday. We're not going to do another Wednesday release, I promise.
Comes out on Thursday.
but we did keep his
Comes out
promise.
next Monday.
Hopefully not. Hopefully I don't record the next update video before the current one comes out. That would be a new low. Because I do the
Too.
recordings for those
I'd
on
like
Thursdays.
to have some consistency with the social schedule.
we try, I promise. But other than that, in real life, I'm actually on vacation in Anime Land, Japan itself. So I'm literally hanging out here on the ground outside of my hotel. it's raining. It's not fun.
Did you
But it's
turn
cool.
on subtitles?
I don't think those work in real life.
Get Google Glass.
Google.
Google Translate, Google Glass.
That would be nice, but no, it's been all right. It's been really fun, actually. Other than this rain.
Konotwa.
But that's
Am I
me,
on
and
HD?
there's actually one other really significant thing that I'm currently working on that I just started working on today, which may or may not involve an official Discord partnership. So, forward to that in the future. You heard it here first.
Okay, that's
Exciting.
exciting.
Basically,
Ooh.
Com gets a special hoodie TM.
Yeah.
Or Leegi, depends who it goes to.
Sure,
Hopefully
too.
Comn.
But I don't remember
Probably
all
me.
the stats for it.
But
If
yeah,
Leech
I won't
gets
talk
it,
about
there has
the
to
I won't
be-
talk about the technical details of that because it's currently in negotiation and in the business side stage of things. But hopefully, I'll be informing you guys possibly in the next update video if anything comes of that.
The only reason Comn became leader just to get that hoodie.
Negotiations? We've lost all communications. And where are the Chancellor's ambassadors?
Leech is going to be pissing
Wait,
himself if you get that hoodie.
was that a freaking prequel memes reference?
It's like, what do you think I've been here for 5 months for? Just for that hoodie, my guys. That's all.
It's all according
That's
to
fair. I would
Keikaku.
too.
I'm just here for the random art of my avatar.
Which you changed, so I have to redesign everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
Well,
It looks similar. You might just have to change the headband, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm just here for the blood raining night.
That's fair.
Who's playing Mario in the
Whatever that
background?
Who's got the Mario Kart theme on?
Mario Kart. That's from Pokemon Coliseum.
It's the same
Stop,
thing.
Oh, I'm
stop playing
sorry.
Pokemon Coliseum.
Oi! Don't. I'm a Nintendo fan, don't. Anyway.
All right, but
Alright.
that's all the stuff we've done for this week. Flower, what is our next topic?
Well, we can move on to what this week is, which is...
Best girl.
I thought you were going to announce it. It's Pluto week! Because that's what was
Yay.
voted on. And we do have our lovable Pluto here with us.
Debatable.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Debatable.
Like it's recognized.
Oh my god! I'm so happy. Yeah, I don't know if lovable's the right word though. Maybe. Once upon a time, perhaps.
Questionable.
She's
Questionable. good.
certainly excited to be here anyway. So,
Yes!
And she was told to stand up.
I
She
don't,
was already standing.
due to some technical difficulties, I don't have any in progress art for Pluto to show you this week, but Pluto is pretty much a small lolly planet.
Pluto.
Yeah.
No Pluto.
What?
Wait, no.
What is Pluto? Is that like the ship name or?
Yes, from last week.
Why?
Yeah.
Don't know.
No.
We really don't want to revisit that meme. Really don't want to.
God, I'll have to go back and watch the stream then. Great.
You mean you don't already?
Only if Pluto's involved, okay? Gee. No, I do sometimes. Maybe. This is awkward.
Jupiter is the forbidden love between a planet and a not planet.
Oi!
Juliet,
then
but
that's-
it was
that's-
not
let's go
in
ahead
Yeah,
and
that's
move
not
on.
what we're talking about. So again, pulling from Comm's lovely character reference documents, I did the most research I could.
Yay.
Honestly, a lot of Pluto's character isn't that science-based as far as I could tell. Pluto's that one character that Uwu came in and was just like, I want to play this. And we were like, okay, cool, sure, fine.
I wasn't that mean about it. I was just like, I like to play
Helpful.
Pluto. And
Hmm.
I changed my name to Awkward Pluto, being like, hey, can I please play him? And yeah, I did. Mission accomplished.
Well,
Yeah,
no, if there's something in there that isn't clearly scientific based, if we talk about it, I may be able to give you my thinking for it at least.
Well, that was what I was hoping to do. So, I have scienced what I can, but it's just not as much as
Excellent.
last week, because last week I spent like 2 hours researching and used like 15 minutes worth of it. So I'm not doing that again.
It's science, people.
Science.
It's real.
Anyway, so the
Yeah.
appearance of Pluto, again, I don't have a picture, but you can find them somewhere on the server if you're really that interested.
Or Google Pluto.
Yeah, like
Or
our
Google
official
it,
art.
or
You're a big
smaller.
kind of person.
Our official art will definitely come up if you Google Pluto, like 100%.
Yeah.
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 Easy.
No, we're not even animating. It's just gonna be Pluto dragged around on a scene. Just the planet.
There's just a ball. Just a ball.
just a-
Yeah.
with some
Sneak confirmation peek. We're going with the Inferno Cop animation style, movable PNGs. Easy.
Yes.
Ooh. I was gonna say,
We're
if we're
doing
using the
world
real
on
planet,
the
we've actually spent all our budget on making a space probe to go to Pluto, so that's why the the release date is so far away, because the probe has to reach there first.
Live action, boys.
Yeah.
We teamed
Yeah.
up with a Studio Local group. We're actually just making it basically a live action VN.
Yeah, we piled our budgets together.
Which was nothing.
Bucks.
I
Nothing.
thought it was a Korean drama. What the hell?
No, Earthgens and Friends'
Wrong
latest
server.
K-pop group.
Oh my god. Yes.
It's metal band.
I thought they were an
It's metal.
LPS animation, stop motion animation Lego.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
A Minecraft
All of
But
these,
anyway.
all of these are great April Fool's Day ideas for next year, except for maybe the
Yes.
space probe.
next year.
Anyway, yes,
That could
Please-
get
Well,
very
fuck
lewd.
SpaceX.
Pluto
Don't
is
give Chronix that idea.
a small lolly-like planet. Not planet.
Yes.
Planet.
Planet.
Planet! Planet!
She has a small lolly-like appearance. Her hair is not that long. Her hair, we ended up having like a kind of messy bob type thing. She's
Yeah.
usually
Devil horns.
slightly
I'm very
It's
proud
very
of
hard to
this.
draw, by the way.
She's usually slightly unkempt and dishevelled. She's very messy, but still looks cute in her own way. Mismatching
we look.
socks and kind of like ruffled skirt and stuff. She's a little messy girl. So Pluto is an edgy girl who gets ignored sometimes. Obviously, hence the fact
Oh.
that she's not meant to be a planet. Nobody is really. Nobody is really sure why she's in the second year class with the other planets, since she herself is not technically a planet anymore. Which obviously is to the distress of both our voice actor Uru and also quite a lot of scientists, including I think it's over half of the team that worked on the New Horizons probe, which actually left the Earth while Pluto was still a planet and reached it as a dwarf planet, which is kind of sad. But over half the team working on that probe think that Pluto should still be a planet.
They're men of culture and they speak the truth.
And they have different reasons for that. Some argue that the definition for planet is still too vague, and so should be classified to a shape and a spherical, like a size and a spherical shape. But interestingly enough, the last redefinition of planet that was presented to the scientific community actually would mean that our solar system would have well over 100 planets instead of the usual classified 8 at the moment. So that's not necessarily the most what's the word? Damn it! Sensible.
Can't think of it either.
The most sensible idea. Yes. So yeah, unfortunately, Pluto is not a planet, even though she still gets treated as such in the anime. So I think that's sweet.
Yeah, fun fact
sure.
actually, it's just as hard to define what is a character in the anime as it is to define what a planet is in real life.
Yeah, it's a
As we
very
went into early on in the
complex.
server's life.
It's a very complex kind of.
Curious for best planet.
Yeah, if I could just do a little side bit here to sort of address that.
Sure.
Is that it's like we don't talk about it so much anymore, but at the beginning there was a lot of discussion over who would be in the show, what kind of planets there would be and everything, and like, oh, if Pluto's a dwarf planet, Pluto's in the show, what about Ceres and all the other dwarf planets in the solar system? And basically our reasoning on this, just for anyone who hasn't heard or is interested in this at all, is what I chose the characters was on recognizability. So like everyone knows who Pluto or what Pluto the planet is. Not everyone knows that Ceres is, to be fair.
Yeah.
So even though
Sad
Pluto
face.
is classified as a dwarf planet, it used to be a planet. It has good name recognition
Yeah.
and therefore is worthy of being in the show.
Yeah.
So that's my little segue. Sorry, we can get back on topic.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting thing to discuss because it's kind of like they are only pencil lines in real life as well as like in real life classification as well as in the show. It's very difficult to draw up. It's like drawing up countries' borders after war. There's a lot of passion goes into researching certain planets and stuff, and as you can tell, Rabbit has quite a thing for Keres, but like scientists end up just arguing amongst each other because they fall in love with a lump of rock that they looked at for a bit too long. So
It's me.
You're
Even I'm outside for too long.
fall in love with a lump of rock.
Yeah, probably has happened. You know what? That has happened. I have a pebble son.
Yep.
Yeah, good res
Sorry.
pictures of Ceres not too long after we got good res pictures of Pluto. So there.
I mean,
Woo!
Like I said, they're actually mentioned in the character docs, so they may show up,
Yeah,
but not in the original stuff.
They
so
are
far.
actually mentioned in this little thing I have here that I'm reading.
Mhm.
So we'll talk about them in a bit. But yes, so a Pluto is a short and vindicative little girl. Vindicative. Yeah,
Vindicative. Yeah.
vindicative. Short and vindicative.
What does that
little
mean?
girl. So, Comn.
She's constantly a little angry. She likes to get revenge if someone does something to her.
That's
like
fair.
not
Yeah.
always a little angry isn't the best definition. Here, let me look it up real quick. If you go on,
anger
She
levels are
doesn't-
not short.
I wouldn't know how to define that, but it seems like a very good
She's
word.
just
yes,
triggered
having or showing a strong or unreasonable desire for revenge.
Mm-hmm. That
It's like
sounds
if
That's
you mess
fair.
with her, she'll mess with you.
It's new word of the day, everyone. Remember, vindicative, revengeful.
addictive.
Yes. And so Pluto is most notable for the fact that she is perpetually late.
Woo!
So obviously, because she's far away, so I guess that's kind of where that
She's
comes
got
from.
the big, super big, long orbit. That's the reasoning for that.
Which
Oh, when did he
I
become so short?
Beats Neptune.
I have actually talked about the orbit later on, but the port I put for this was vindicative, which I obviously did look up last night and then have completely forgotten what it meant now. Pluto has very, very, very cold, inhospitable weather, obviously because Pluto is very far away from the Earth, so the temperatures can actually fall to minus 387 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 233 degrees Celsius, which is insanely cold. That is not very far away from 0 degrees Kelvin or absolute zero. It's very cold. Very, very, very cold. So obviously she's a little bit inhospitable to human life. She doesn't like people in general, so that's kind of my thing. She's a little bit
Relatable.
grumpy.
Uh-huh.
So because
That's
of
my
her
girl.
because of her small stature, it is hard for people, especially the adults and Jupiter, to take her seriously. And this is probably the biggest of Pluto's many pet peeves. So a lot of people just look right over her head or assume she's a child because she's so short.
Yep.
I was wondering when OO got shortened in the podcast.
Bitch. No! I didn't even notice till now. God damn it, I'm at perfect.
did you just
dicks.
swear on my
Okay, like,
Christian
we're not
Language. But even
sorry.
despite her small size, Pluto is still the largest of all of the dwarf planets. So hence why she was a
Yeah, they're
planet
my
for a
bitch.
while.
Still not an actual planet.
Not quite. By the current definition. They have been looking at changing the definition in the past couple of years, so it is like actually almost likely that Pluto might be a planet again, maybe for another 10 years and then she'll go back. You never know. I think this will be one of those perpetual arguments that physicists like to argue about because it's slightly less scary than the other things they get to argue about in the office. So yeah. But
that's right, suck my dick.
Fine, because
Pluto's literally from hell because she was named after the Roman god of the underworld.
yes. She
She
is
a fun fact.
very, very angry.
the thing
I
about
just say that's why she has the devil horns in her hair.
Yeah, that is the
Little-
reasoning for that particular design.
Yeah, we totally knew that.
Yep.
Yep.
Because the thing about Pluto is like, you know, everybody's like, oh yeah, it didn't clear its neighborhood. It's like, well, unlike Ceres, which actually pretty much shares its orbit with a bunch of other crap, Pluto's orbit like is not literally shared with a bunch of other crap. So.
Well,
yeah.
no, but
There's another thing.
there's
I mean,
that is the main reason that people usually quote. But a lot of the times when people have tried to say that and redefined it, they actually bring up the argument that Pluto is effectively a binary planet with its largest moon, Charon, because they the way that they orbit actually, instead of being a typical planet and moon orbit cycle of the planet being still, although rotating and rotating around the sun, the moon goes around the outside of that. But the way that Pluto and Charon orbit is actually around a single gravitational point between the two of them. So they orbit like a binary star around each other. And so that gives them a very untypical moon and planet relationship. And so it's like, well, can a planet really be a binary planet, if that makes sense?
I ship it.
I mean, to be fair, you know, most of the planets in this solar system are huge, while their moons are tiny rocks. You know, the only other planet that's got a moon of any comparable size to it is Earth.
But that brings me on to back to where I was in the document, which is, yes, Pluto is the largest of all of the dwarf planets, but she is still very small, which is less than the fifth of the diameter of Earth. So it's tiny, pretty tiny.
She's actually, fun fact, Pluto, the planet, is smaller than Earth's moon, so we had to have a bit of a discussion over whether or not we'd make Pluto smaller than Luna in the character size.
She's a kindergarten.
Yeah.
And Luna's very young, and she is very small. I don't think we've ultimately resolved that question yet, so if you guys do have feedback in chat or in the audience, or you have any ideas on that, please feel free to suggest them in space discussions as to how that can be handled.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
think
still don't know.
That's definitely a good question. Whether we can have a high school student smaller than
Elementary school.
that one. I can speak.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have met elementary school kids who are bigger than me. And
It's, I mean,
makes
it's
me
happened in
satisfied.
anime before. It's happened in real life before. We could do it, but
It's whether we think it's kind of stupid.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
I know your feel.
yeah.
Anyway. Although
Don't turn it lewd.
Although she isn't a quiet and reserved planet, she doesn't have any friends in the main cast, and the main cast all treat her like a child. To make up for her diminutive stature, Comn, what is it with you and big words in this piece? Wow.
I like them.
They're difficult to
They're
say.
more descriptive.
To make up for her diminutive stature,
Diminutive stature.
Pluto possesses a bunch of energy and a short fuse that doesn't take much to set off. So my random science fact for this bit was the fact that she has... How did that make any sense? I did this too late. She has 11,000 foot high mountains made of almost pure ice. So she's very cold and very, like, I guess, extremes of... I don't think that really makes the fuse.
To be honest, my justification for this was that it would be fun.
Yeah, it doesn't really...
So don't worry about it.
But you can almost say that
You can sort of justify it.
the big mountains.
But not really.
So she has like a big range of emotions, like I was saying with Mars earlier, whereas she's just more angry, and ice is
She
like
has her ups
cold
and
and
downs.
like... Grr.
Pluto has some big mountains.
Yes.
Okay. Wee woo, do not lose the celestial body, please.
Yeah, not in the stream, Rabbit. Not in the stream.
Too late, mate.
Yeah, no, Chronic's
exactly.
already on it, goddamn.
Too
Oh
late.
no.
She doesn't really hang out with or have any
Oh.
good friends in her class. Instead, she is friends with some other edgy dwarf planets who are first years in high school.
Probably in my skin.
My skin.
So
Jesus, not here.
she has some childhood friends, the fellow dwarf planets Ceres and Eris, who share her
Did you go here?
tastes, i.e. yaoi shipping, trash, and fan fiction.
Yaoi.
That is in the official document, by the way.
Yes.
Not
Yaoi
just saying
shipping,
that.
trash, and fan fiction. So, the science behind it, Pluto has 5 moons, which obviously she cares for. As I've mentioned before, Pluto and Charon almost orbit like a binary star, so we presume they would be close, even though they are not friends. But she does have people she is close to, despite being an edgy gremlin child.
Yeah, Sharon and Pluto, that relationship is actually an unresolved question right now as far as character or lore is concerned. So if you guys have feedback on that, if you have ideas, share them in space discussions or in the chat. I'll take a look.
Hey, we finally got a message in chat.
Oops.
Do you want to read it out, Link?
Solar Sailor 1 says, taller than Luna, but I could see her being about the same size. Again, the planets won't have their actual sizes. Mercury isn't hundreds of times smaller than Sun, say, but it should be somewhat representative.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little smaller.
Just have Mercury slowly shrinking.
Because
when
we
they're
have
near the
managed,
sun.
we have the rest of the cast is in size order, not to scale, but in size order. Like Jupiter is the tallest, Sunset is slightly taller than her, Mars-chan is the shortest, etc. So we have kept it chronologically. Is that the right word? No.
No.
Ironically,
No.
Chronically is certainly not it.
Um,
Yes, all the planets are
We've
we've
chronically in
kept
order
them in.
from
We've
the
kept them in the
present to-
correct order. How about that?
Yeah. So they are ordered correctly. So I don't think it would be like it would keep to the rest of the theme of our show because we haven't paid attention to age before, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Age is just a number.
It's just if we kept that going and we had like the black hole at the center of the solar system as the head teacher of the school, then they're gonna have to be like 3 times the height of Sunsei, and Sunsei is already like 6 foot.
It's just constantly on stilts.
But we could
seeing an episode.
we could allude to
where
that by
all the planets are the proper
Just
canonic
runs
heights.
around on stilts. That'd be funny.
we could allude
These
to
boots
that
were
by
made
like
for walking. That's just
having
what they
having
do.
them like do one like where they're walking to school or something and they walk through a corridor at school, or there's like a chase scene down one of the corridors and they go past the headmistress's office and the door is just like 4 times the size of them.
There's just some black
That would be
mist coming
entertaining.
out from under the door.
just like a really really big door and just not really.
Yeah, and I'm happy to do ridiculous stuff like that because this is like an animation short slice of life comedy.
Yeah.
We're not aiming for super realism here.
I think that
Enough
would be
realism
really
that it makes sense,
Mhm.
but
just silly
Yeah.
stuff like that kind of help it come
Yeah.
to life.
Yeah, we're not being realistic because Earth actually has a bust.
She got big titty, big anime titty.
I'm not fat, okay?
she's not. She's not flat.
Yesterday at
Not
at the karaoke we sang Space Oddity, and one of the songs is like one of the lyrics from it is like planet Earth is blue and there's nothing we can do, and Kata kept singing planet Earth is flat and there's nothing we can do.
Planet Earth is flat and there's nothing we can do.
But yeah,
That's amazing.
That's a sidetrack. We were talking about Pluto's interesting tastes of shipping and fanfiction, and Pluto, although we talked last week about Mars being the most eccentric orbit, Pluto has the second most eccentric orbit, so it makes sense that she's also a little bit off her rockers.
Yeah, so Pluto isn't spouting conspiracy theories everywhere, but she's got some weird tastes.
She's
She
got some
conspiracies against yaois.
And
yaoi. And you get some yaoi.
Dude, I swear to God, Nas is gay. Just listen to my theory. Slams book on table.
a 500
NASA
page
doesn't
book
think
just
I'm on
about
actual
NASA
planets.
tipping with Mercury.
Well,
Just
yeah,
like a Bible or something.
Pluto's orbit is actually eccentric enough that it does cross with Neptune's orbit. So for 20-year periods at a time, out of its 248-year orbit, that's like long. Wow.
Yes.
But for 20 years at a time, Pluto is closer to Earth and the Sun than Neptune is. So when Pluto was a planet, and the last time it crossed back to further from the Sun was 1999. So Pluto was the closest, the 8th closest, rather than the furthest planet from the Sun for 20 years, ending in 1999.
Hey,
I
Shmine.
remember when that happened.
No wonder Pluto's so short. Her 1 year of her life is equivalent to like 2.
2.
What?
Pluto's
You
a leap
got the
year,
math
baby.
right there, baby?
1 year of her life is
Math, everybody.
Two.
Not doing important
Are you?
stuff. That's why I'm only running
one
Community
year of her
manager
life is
Winkler,
equivalent
everyone.
to like 3 or 4, depending on how long you're estimating our lifespans to be. Anyway, let's not go into the science of life extending right now, because I could talk about that forever. Out of all of the people who get on Pluto's nerves, NASA is the worst, because he refuses to acknowledge her as a planet, but also just because she thinks everything he does is absolutely dumb and pointless.
I.e. refer to the
Yeah,
April Fool's video.
refer to April Fool's Day video
Yeah,
for
the
their
April Fool's
interaction.
video is a good
Fisting.
example of their relationship.
Fisticuffs.
I prefer worded battle of the
That is a beautiful demonstration of our 2 talented voice actors who we are lucky enough to be talking to.
You're
Yay.
welcome.
Thank
I
you.
wrote the initial script.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I heavily
The
rejected.
script was not written by me.
I rejected, and I like wrote you a massive paragraph, and then came back the next day and everyone was actually working on it, and I was like, what? What is going on?
You see, Flower, it was because you
Living.
rejected it that we liked it for the April Fool's video.
You know what? I try and be serious, but that
You
was
could
it.
say
Was
that moment the team was very like that one word we used a couple minutes ago.
chronic,
What was that word?
started learning stuff here.
What?
The one that means revenge again.
Vindictive.
Which word was that? Yes, that word.
Vindictive.
I was very vindicative that day.
Vindictive. Vindictive.
Vindictive.
Yes.
No, it's vindictive. They're right.
Vindictive.
Pluto isn't able.
Emphasis on the dick.
Well, obviously, Pluto and NASA have an argument just simply because NASA was like, "You're not a planet anymore." So, yeah.
Yes, it's
You're-
upsetting.
May or may not secretly ship them.
So, Pluto
Oh,
isn't
God.
able to make many friends because she is awkward and lacks some self-confidence. But she has fun in her
Planet.
own way and with her close friends. Pluto had a kind of rough life during middle school, and even though she is ignored and looked down upon slightly by some of the students in her new class, they treat her better than before, and she is slowly building new relationships. So the most sciencey
Down
thing...
on.
What?
Because
No,
get it,
that's
because you're
not-
short.
That's not Pluto's official design in the April Fool's video. Too buff.
Oh yeah, no. In the
No.
April Fool's video, neither of those are official designs. Those were just sketches by
A team musician, Incog.
what was his face? Incog, yeah.
So they're
Sorry,
What was his
Incog.
face? He doesn't have
Forgot
one.
who you were for a minute.
Yeah.
they're not representative of our art style or anything like that. That entire video is a massive shitpost. So
But it's the amount
Absolutely.
of animation we're trying to get, though.
We will surpass
Right.
that, I promise.
Blood
That's
But
my
yeah,
one here.
none of those designs, neither of those designs, I should say, were official.
But with Pluto being kind of like having a rough life during middle school, and yet she's healing now.
happened
I
in
found this
middle
really key
school?
thing. So if you look at the picture of Pluto in the background, actually, if I take the characters off, you can see there's a heart-shaped region on Pluto's surface, and
Yep.
this region is known as the Tombao region after one of the scientists that spent too much of his life looking at Pluto. And this region is lighter than the rest of the surface, but it showing that it is newer than most of the surface, but it is covered in streaks from lots of wind and actually more craters than the rest of the surface. So this particular area was bombarded, and so it's kind of like her heart has suffered like a lot of emotional damage over the years. But there is still kind of active platonics in that region, and so there is some, I think it's on the left hand side of it when you're looking at this picture, but New Horizons last year or the year before found
I think it was last year
found that well, actually one of these regions is completely flat with no impact craters, and so new surface is being formed over this very scarred region, so her heart is actually healing. So despite having a rough life during middle school, she's getting better now and has friends, and life is getting better for her. So I thought that was really sweet.
Finally getting out of the drug phase. She's rehabbing. Her meth addiction has calmed down.
She's getting out of the yaoi. She's getting out of the yaoi phase and going
I'm not
to
going to
the...
confirm nor deny that Pluto had a meth addiction.
And by meth, we mean methane.
She's like 12.
She was
Really rough childhood.
She was snorting
Kids
the
start early
peanut powder
nowadays.
for a good 10 years.
It's just small.
She was snorting the peanut powder for a good long time. And after she beat that child for an Easter egg, she realized
No,
she needed to
Pluto
change.
did not have a meth addiction.
No, I said Reese's peanut powder addiction.
She didn't
Enough to
snort
beat up
those
women at
either,
one time.
no.
Why not?
No.
And here we have a
This is
perfect
my
example
lore.
of NASA
You
and
can't
Pluto.
hijack this.
She was addicted to ecstasy. Get it right, guys.
No.
Just great.
No drugs.
Black tie.
Let's not have any drugs in the show. It's a light-hearted
No.
slice of life. Come on, guys.
She's addicted to yaoi. That's all we know.
Yeah.
What slice of life comedies have you been watching where they didn't do meth in K-On?
What slice of life haven't you been watching?
Ask me, I wouldn't know.
Watch Gakugurashi.
Can someone
Those kids
someone
were
add they didn't?
obviously on weed.
Can someone add they didn't do meth in K-On to Com's command, please?
You know,
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you don't know the lore behind the planets and
So-
chaos.
A question from Random Schmo earlier. Will there be the classic anime tropes such as huge
We answered
hacking
that in the update video.
titties? The answer is this is not a fan service anime, but Sansei.
There will be a
Sansei. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I have a thing for older women. This is the show to watch.
She's really hot.
Let's not promise that.
God damn it.
Mika, you're not telling us something?
Okay, they're Fortnite.
Link is Fortnite 2.0.
I don't know.
And that's why he's such a bad mod.
Oof. I didn't say that. They're both decent mods. They're both good mods.
Link is just clumsy.
Moving on.
Pluto isn't sure what she wants to grow up to be yet, but she has a vindicative. Why did you use the word again?
Pluto wants to be a
Vindicative?
Because it's the best word to describe the way I want her to be.
She has a vindictive streak.
Vindictive.
Hey.
Vindictive. She has a vindictive streak a mile wide and can be snappy at times. Pluto spends most of her free time.
To be a Doshin rider.
Yes, accurate. Pluto spends most of her time at home or at manga/internet cafes with her friends, and they do research
They
online.
do the yaois.
That is also in the official document. It has quote marks
Yeah.
around it. They do
Yes,
research
quote-unquote research.
online.
Yeah,
And-
that came from. When did that come from? That came from. We had to do the bloody audio to work with, didn't it? The Yowie meme, Pluto. Good times.
What?
Good times. Remember when where did the Yowies for Pluto come from? Like, it was
Probably from some fanfic reading at some point.
I thought it was oh man, that fanfic with Pluto was just bullied relentlessly. Jeez.
Oh, that one was rough.
Oh god,
That
the
was
kid child.
Anyway,
legs
sorry.
blown off.
I'm not gonna hijack this. Go ahead, continue on, Flower.
Oh, okay. They do research online and watch things that they could not at home. Which just gives you some examples of no drugs.
Oh, they'll just log out of the
watch
computer,
heroin.
look around to make sure no one's watching, and
I can
then
watch
secretly
heroin
type
if
in
I want.
how to get free Fortnite V-Bucks.
They watch Alex Jones.
Bar.
Turn a freaking fox gay.
Yeah, so basically that meme where the kid waits for his mum to leave the house and then like Google searches something, that's Pluto. That's Pluto right there. And then, interesting enough, we talked about dojins and we talked about a sketchbook, I believe, earlier. Pluto has a special notebook that no one else is allowed to see and that she guards with her life. She usually doesn't bring it to school. She usually doesn't bring it to school, but when she does, she acts extra nervous that day, and that's because she is a closet fujoshi. And you can probably guess what goes into that notebook. So, as we were talking about last week, with all of the characters having kind of like a notebook to represent them, Pluto's it's not exactly safe for work.
Just Schmo, no.
No?
To answer your latest question, no. And I'm not going to talk about that.
Perhaps.
No.
No.
Yeah, let's move away from that topic. I'm just going to say no to that.
Anyway.
Okay. So then I've just got some random Pluto facts, but do you guys want to share your facts if they haven't been already?
Fact 1, Pluto is not a planet.
Awesome. Okay, we're kicking the cat out of the server. Sorry, I can't do this anymore. Where's the kick button? There's cat out.
Oh, don't kick him.
You can't kick him anyway,
Back
can
to
you?
Pluto smaller than the moon.
Yeah,
Don't
she
kick
can.
me.
She's a mod.
Yeah, I can have a mod.
Oh, from the server.
Yeah.
Kick me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's be polite. Uwe, what's your Pluto fact?
She's awesome. Okay.
Bias at all?
No, I have a
That's
kind
just
of
a
a
theory.
Okay.
and
cut.
A yow.
Yowie theory. Hey. I had
And
a
looted.
one of my
I have-
scientific
I
facts.
have my fact.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Okay,
hasn't been
fine
said.
then.
Are we not going down the line?
Go.
Well, we can go down the line if
Okay.
you have one, Link.
I've got one.
Go for it then.
What I found out was Pluto was actually named by a 11-year-old schoolgirl.
Interesting.
She
That's actually pretty cool.
I
She
did
was
that
interested
Pluto
in classical
myself.
mythology, so she suggested it to her. She suggested it in a conversation with her grandfather, who was a former librarian at the University of Oxford's library, to astronomy professor Herbert Howell Turner, who cabled it to colleagues in the United States.
Huh.
Yes.
Or
Pluto named
before
herself.
Pluto got the name, she was named Planet X.
Ooh. That can be your edgy alter ego from middle school.
Back when she was Chunibyo. She wasn't, by the way. That's not in the story, but that would be funny.
Yeah. By the power of planets, I will banish you. I have the power of God and enemy on my side. Ah!
When she was Chunyo, she thought she was a planet.
She didn't get banished. She's not a planet.
Ah!
Yeah, and then she realised. Good facts, Link. Thank you.
Yeah, that was cool.
Kassa, what is your Pluto fact other than...
Yes. A pair.
Yes.
This could be just Google a little bit.
Oh, come on! Don't tell me
I-
you seriously came to the podcast with the only fact of Pluto is not a
I mean,
planet.
I always said them in the earlier conversation.
I have a fact while Kat is doing.
Yes,
Yes,
thanks,
Uru.
Ori.
Part of like my inspiration for Pluto's personality was the way that the planet Pluto kind of gains its heat or has liquid in general is basically gains its own heat from its heat. Gains its own heat from its cold, which is when you've ever put like ice in water, it melts, etc. So that's just kind of the personality I was going for. So she's just cold, but then she gets awkward from her coldness, the repercussions of trying to be cold, and then boom. That's it. Do you have one now?
Apparently, the discoverer of Pluto, his ashes are hurtling towards Pluto.
Oh wow,
Oh
really?
my god. I just realized
They
what I'm
launch a
doing with my
threat tank?
ashes.
Yeah, the New
I have to beat
Horizons
him.
apparently contains his ashes.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Damn.
pretty cute. So the
Could
guy,
someone shoot me at a planet when I'm dead?
You will send you to NASA.
Yeah, Comn, I'll shoot you into the sun where you belong.
If you'd like, I'm sure we
That's
could just take your
Aw.
casket and shoot it towards the ground at like 15 miles an hour, and then problem solved.
15 miles an hour. That's not fast enough.
We'll shoot
Somebody
you towards
stick
the
me-
Russians.
No. You gotta stick me in the Hadron Collider. Make me
oh,
into a new element.
that was a weird noise. I
Trying to
would
drop
so
you
do
in.
that. I was gonna say someone bury me on Mars, but I want to work at the Large Hadron Collider when I'm
We'll
older.
make
so
Pluto
that
snort
would
your
be-
ashes.
I'll do that for you,
No.
Tom.
Just like take a little bit of me, take like a finger, and shoot it through the Hadron Collider and see what comes out.
Which finger do you want? Take
We
it.
get a family.
Middle finger. Middle
I'll be
finger.
dead. I
Middle
don't
finger.
care.
It just disintegrates
Yeah,
because
middle
Com
finger.
isn't real.
Middle finger. Middle finger.
We'll taxidermy
Flip
you.
off the world.
Yeah.
We'll
So I'm just saying my whole
taxidermy
body
you and
is
put you in a
Pluto.
go-kart
Anyway.
and send you off to school.
That is a good Pluto fact. Rabbit, what is your Pluto
Yeah.
fact?
Pluto is number 134,340. They chose that number specifically.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. Probably because it's a nice semi-symmetrical
Did you
number.
just make that up on the spot?
No, they literally chose it specifically when they demoted Pluto. I don't know why they chose that number. I guess because it's sort of symmetrical, but
All right.
Interesting.
That's
And Com,
Fair enough.
finally, what is your Pluto fact?
My Pluto fact is that Pluto only sometimes has an atmosphere. Since Pluto has the elliptical orbit that sometimes takes it closer to the sun, when it is closer to the sun, its surface ice thaws and forms a very thin atmosphere, primarily of nitrogen, that slowly goes away and either condenses or just escapes as it moves further on in its orbit.
Cool.
that's cute.
So it's like changing moods.
Yeah.
She
So-
opens up and thaws with.
We talked about the man who discovered Pluto, and I'm not sure if they mean discovered or predicted, but the guy who originally named Pluto Planet X was called Lowell, and he predicted its existence in 1915 because he was studying Uranus and Neptune, and he saw that there was irregularities in their orbits where the gravitational pull of Pluto was kind of messing with them a little bit. And so he first saw these in 1905 and officially predicted that there must be a Planet X in 1915, but it wasn't actually discovered until after he died in 1930. So he knew it was there, but he
Cool.
never knew for sure, which I think is kind of tragic. But he was right, and we owe knowing there was Pluto to him, really, because people weren't looking for any other planets until he realised there might be one. So people started making better telescopes and trying to track it and find it. And
We
then
actually get some photos of Pluto that weren't discovered. Like they didn't figure out that it was Pluto until later on, though.
What?
I think I remember reading somewhere that the process of him trying to find it pictures and stuff. Thumbs alarm went off. They later determined that some of the photos that he had taken actually had Pluto in them, but they couldn't see it at the time or something. I'd have to look
Yep.
back up.
Yep.
I just looked it up. The number that Rabbit mentioned before is basically just rams in that Pluto isn't a planet because the full name is asteroid number 134,340.
No.
Oof.
It's basically
Rubbing
just says,
salt
Rabbit,
in the
I
wound.
hate your facts now.
basically Pluto is just not a planet. It's just an asteroid.
Lies.
It's a
It's a
number
planet
they,
in our
they,
heart.
they put
Carries
numbers
the-
on a bunch of like things that just they find in orbit.
Yeah.
And
Carries
Pluto
is
is one
number
of those
one.
numbered objects now.
That's how they name asteroids, I believe. They just give them numbers.
Generic
This
test
asteroid.
123 asks, random question, do you pronounce Uranus like Uranus or Uranus?
Uranus.
I pronounce it Uranus.
I think
And it'll be
that's
pronounced-
what we're
it'll-
pronouncing on the show.
Uranus.
It'll actually, I can quickly cover that. In the show, the pronunciation of Uranus or Uranus will depend on the character. Who
It's just
is
pronounced
pronouncing.
anus.
Yes, so someone like Pluto would potentially call Uranus just ass. Whereas NASA, myself, I will be pronouncing it Uranus.
I'll probably
But,
say Uranus because
Uranus.
Yeah, it'll just
Like
depend
the
on the
same
voice
thing
actor
to
and
Flower
what
from
makes more
Pluto.
sense for
the
each person.
character.
You're
Yeah.
an ass.
Uranus.
Please have that be in that really gay fake script of Uranus and Pluto. No homo, but full homo.
But anyway, I have two more facts for you today before we move on. So these are both about things, science to do with Pluto. Actually, everything's science to do with Pluto. I mean, like, I was going to say space probes, but I guess the Hubble Space Telescope is a space probe. Anyway, Hubble Space Telescope does have Pluto within its shot sometimes, and it has actually revealed in the past couple of years that the crust of Pluto could contain organic molecules, and some of them quite complex. So these organic molecules are carbon-based molecules, and they are the building blocks of life as we know it. So that is pretty damn exciting that Pluto could have like carbon-based molecules on its surface, because those are what we believe to be starts life. It's those carbon molecules. And actually, in science news, otherwise this week, I did announce it in Space Discussions, but I'll just mention it here. NASA announced like a couple of days ago that they have that Curiosity found those molecules, like, definitely on Mars's surface. So Mars does have organic molecules, which is so exciting considering we know that there
Yay.
was once liquid water on Mars. It's kind of like there probably could have been once life
Like,
on Mars, which is so cool. Anyway,
Hooray! Mars has lice. Woo!
Nice.
So your dream coming true.
that's the kind of like Earth-Strand model of humans being lice, but we're not really.
Yeah, we're not following the humans are lice model.
This is why we should nuke Mars and Pluto.
Nuke them both.
That's why we should all move to Pluto. She needs more friends.
Oh. And my last fact
Strawberry
is that the New Horizons data that was transmitted last year shows that, as well as that changing atmosphere that Comn talked about, Pluto has the ability to form clouds that aren't just storms, just like pretty clouds like we have on Earth. So you would actually be able to like paint a cloud scene from Pluto, and it would look really pretty. So I thought that was cool.
Hey.
And that is all for me and Pluto this week, so I hope that's okay. I did want to ask you, though, Uwu, if you wanted to talk about how you... I was going to try and ask this to most voice actors, but I think yours is probably the most obvious. To tell us a little bit about how you think about the character and how you get yourself in the zone to kind of play them.
How I get into the zone of playing Pluto is
Just
I
act
tend
natural.
I used to have this little song back in the League days that I would sing that reminded me of Pluto. And when I'd sing it, I'd get into the zone. I'm not going to rehearse it.
If it's the one I think it is, then it's beautiful.
Yeah, Pluto is planet. Yeah, I wrote that for my audition for Luigi because his lines were very awkward. I'm sorry, Luigi, if you're watching this, even though
They
you're probably not.
absolutely were.
Yeah, Ligi's
Yeah.
Pluto was like, I'm so depressed and alone and sad.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
just,
she was just depresso incarnate.
let me just
I thought
grab
that was
some
a
Com's.
fun
Let
I'm
me just grab
flying.
Com's Oval, not Oval, Pluto edition.
Please don't do
No.
soundboards on stream.
I mean, it's very funny if you on the server
It's
can manage
funny,
to dig it up from
but-
somewhere, but not on the stream, please,
Oh,
Caleb.
I'll play when the stream ends, just to...
No
Ask
sound.
him when you're in a
That-
voice chat with him or something like that.
Let's not do this now because Uwe
Yeah.
was talking about.
Yeah.
So you kind of sing a little song. That's interesting. I think because
Yeah, I
you
had a little
pretty
song.
you pretty much are Pluto incarnate anyway, or at least how we've done the thing.
Not
It's up to you.
originally, but yeah. I don't know how that came to be, but well,
I
Here we
felt
are.
it was easier to like sort of write the characters so that they're similar to the voice actors, or pick voice actors that are similar to the characters that I kind of wanted. That way it is easier for us voice actors to get into character because we're not pros. We don't have a heck of a lot of training, or at least most of us don't,
Mhm.
to get into different character.
yeah, but originally Pluto was like this cute little
Yeah, but
Ollie who's
Then who chose the
misunderstood,
Australian
and now
to voice Neptune?
It's perfect.
Oh, I can't wait until we do Neptune on podcast because
Yes.
Rook is. You are going to love the voice actor for Neptune, guys.
Rook is Neptune. It's great.
It's perfect. I like to think I'm Earth-chan, but I think I have a bit more of an evil
You
streak
are.
than she does sometimes.
You're a bit more evil than Earth, but you can get into character pretty easily.
Hmm. But yeah,
I
that
can't relate to Pluto because I'm
I
not.
imagine Owo
Just kidding.
takes some drugs and just gets into character.
I mean, I
Just
often end
Pluto's
up.
not the
inject
druggy.
heroin.
I was going to say I
No.
often, to try and play Earth accurately, happily, I often end up consuming quite a bit of caffeine. But, you know, we all have our own methods. And I'm sure if you've been in voice call with me on a Saturday evening, you know what happens when I consume too much caffeine. So, yes. It's good fun. It's good fun. We all have good fun as voice actors. So yeah, that was the end of Pluto. I hope you enjoyed this week talking about that. So we've got some random topics
Okay,
now.
she's gone.
If
Yes.
if
The
I
end
can
of Pluto.
interject, how I get
That's all,
into character
folks.
is I push my glasses up and pretend like I'm about to destroy someone with a Reddit comment.
Push your glasses up and put on your cat coat.
So the Reddit comment.
Just put your best flower paragraph head on and go for it.
Well, actually,
According to the encyclopedia, that is not correct.
No, Comn consumes Go-Good.
Go.
according to my
Gosh,
research,
dang it.
According to my research.
according to my research,
It's
No,
our
you
research.
were wrong.
I have
really hope we
extensive
get-
notes on all of the planets.
I really hope we get SpaceX like approval to get them as a character on the show, because I would absolutely love to see the battles going on between NASA and SpaceX. Like, according to my research, well, you see, buddy, your research is about 30 years old and wrong. So
You're underfunded.
Yeah, just some
Cries in the
arguments and
corner.
stuff. I'd like though to see the difference because I keep mentioning this again, but it's one of the concepts I really like, and Kat and I have been discussing it a little bit about having each character.
Where were we?
Yeah, have each character's notebooks, and having actually maybe perhaps making merch of them, because we've almost characterized every character at this point to have some kind of notebook which they note things down in, and I think it would be really interesting to have to compare like NASA and SpaceX's notebooks, because I can imagine
I forgot.
NASA's being like a really worn through like Poundland one or dollar store notebook with like rough paper and like a scribbled pencil.
Just scrumpled notes.
Yeah.
Their cover is falling half off. There's sticky notes coming out everywhere. Yeah.
And then
SpaceX's is custom made looking.
Just an
sleek.
iPad.
yeah, or
It's just an iPad. Yeah.
well, yeah, I know. I was
hologram.
thinking of, because we have like, it's really odd. I don't know. You probably don't have that, but we have like the two poshest papers in the UK are Oxford ruled paper and Cambridge ruled paper, because for some reason we think that universities should make posh paper, and so we do. And you have like Cambridge ruled pads and Oxford ruled pads, and the paper, okay, is so soft. It's literally like I could sleep on that paper and be happy. It's like silky smooth, and it's thick enough to be card. Like you can put like you could colour the full sheet in highlighter and it wouldn't go through to the other side. So I kind of imagine SpaceX's notebooks would be like soft and silky like that.
Oh yeah.
If SpaceX
Or
has an
actually-
iPad, then NASA
No,
has
People can sleep on it.
SpaceX
has
would
an
probably
iPad
have
and
like a tablet computer, but I think the person who would have the rich paper would be Uranus.
Uranus.
But have a really, really nice notebook.
She uses it to
NASA
draw
has a leapfrog.
drawings of memes. Hyper realistic memes. Just you open it and it's Pepe on the first page.
It's the Fields budget, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that, yeah,
Big of Fields
Conspiracy
budget,
face as soon as you open it.
as we were talking about last week, well, Earth would have more of like a gardening notebook, so it would have like soil stains on it and whatever. And Pluto's obviously got her special notebook. But yeah,
Yes.
Covered in questionable liquids.
I can't remember what we were meant to be talking about, but I don't think it was this.
It's wood blue. It's
Anyway.
wood blue.
Down this poem with my scent.
Moving
Wait.
on from moving
Wrong
on from the
franchise,
more
apparently.
official things. I have a random topic suggested by Comn a couple of weeks ago that I have actually tagged onto the end of my itineraries for a few podcasts, but we haven't got around to talking about it. And that is talking about the story behind your online username, which is a very interesting question.
Oh, what the hell?
So, I mean, everyone
Yeah,
has
no. I literally thought up this question and DM'd it to Flower in the middle of the week. For no
Well, you
reason.
can write a book about the evolution of my username. What the hell?
From
Yeah, yours has evolved quite a bit just
Yeah.
just being on the server.
Well, I mean, people change. I think it's interesting. So if anyone wants to start, I don't mind starting because mine's kind of simple. Although I guess it has
You
quite
like
a bit of
flowers.
background. Sorry. Yeah. So I'll start then. So
Alright.
obviously my name is Rose, so I stuck it on the end. Like, I mean, it's not general
Rose.
internet practice, is it? But you know, whatever. I did it. I'm a rebel.
Mm.
And then the rest of my username came from the days when I used to do Hetalia roleplay, and I played.
Sorry.
I know, right?
Go ahead.
I was like 11, like it was. And I played the Isle of Wight, who was like a very magical character. So when I like transferred over to having like my own accounts of things, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a magical girl. So I was like, yeah, magical. And then I don't really remember where the one came from. It just kind of makes it fit, right? Yeah, that's where my username came from. Cringy Hetalia roleplay and a name.
Perfect.
So yeah. Ooh, where did yours come from? Death by Ooh.
I don't know. I just think of Uwu, and then was like, oh, it's so cringy. And I was like, oh, people can die from cringe. What if I just put death by Uwu? And I did that after I became over Pluto and showed everyone Blood Raining Night, and they were like, oh no, end my misery. And I was like, oh, perfect, time to change my name. That's about it. No real deep history.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can talk about my
Unless you
just.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright,
if we're
Kata,
going in,
open up the novel.
if we're
Yeah,
going
link
in,
it.
Are we going in line or are we just hopping around?
yeah, link.
We'll
you
go in
for
line.
it.
Link, go ahead.
Okay, so mine originally was from like two parts. My 9 or 10 or something. I don't know where I got the idea for the name, but it was originally just like Mr. Rar is like some weird like I don't know. It was stupid. And then the link part came in. One of my friends growing up, and he's still doing art and stuff now. He's going to like college and stuff for it. But his name at the time was Kirby, and so there was a time when we'd be in a class together or something. We'd doodle. I needed a name for my character, so I went with Link, and then eventually I just tacked the two together.
Nice.
Cool. Kata?
So, if I can remember, I've been 7 different catters ever since I first joined the world of the
Yeah.
internet. So I
There's
made
a lot
a
of
quick
catters
note,
on our server.
made a quick notepad that starts with the first catter, the catter. That's my name. That was
It's gonna
the
be like a
beginnings.
full-on slideshow presentation.
The second catter, mad catter, the weeb. Third catter, cat catter, the bony. Fourth catter, the mad cat catter, the equilibrium. Fifth catter, mad pump catter, the descent into hell. Sixth catter, pump Polycon catter.
Hell.
No. And then
Yeah.
here we are now, catter. We don't know anymore.
Acceptance.
Still hell.
The 7 stages of grief. I mean, what a
I
beautiful
could go
story.
into more detail, but that's enough for today.
Is there a reason behind the Kata part at least?
Mad Hatter. Because I once had a story when I wrote a while ago. There was a main character was named Mad Catter. He wore a top hat, which was based off the Mad Hatter. Catter, cat.
Hey!
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing.
And then shit happens.
Fair enough.
Moving
And
on.
for the name jar.
You wanna go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, for the
Um,
name jar.
I'll wood you again.
No
Don't do it.
alluding.
Please no.
I'll take
Alright.
all of it off this time.
Pull it,
Oh,
put it all in
let's-
Pluto's Yowie book.
Rabbit,
No.
do you want to tell us
Moving
the
on.
story behind your username, Doomsday
Okay.
Rabbit?
So the reason I'm the Doomsday Rabbit is because I was born on Doomsday, at least according to the Doomsday calculator. You look that up on Wikipedia. Basically, it lets you determine the day of the week of any day, literally, because of the way the calendar works. You just got to know a few key dates and what day of the week they fell on. And then rabbit, because the month of March apparently is the month of the rabbit in the Chinese calendar. I'm like, you know what? Why the hell not? So that's what I went with.
So yours is all based on your birthday. That's really interesting.
Yep.
Simple, effective. I like it.
About to go full on like CSI and figure out exactly how old he is.
I'm the
I'll go
oldest
full
one
CSI
here.
people.
That's all I can say.
And then Comn.
Alright, so mine was originally, before I was Commando, I was just Commando, which is based off an old, like, 2007, 2009, like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 era shitpost meme that I literally just named myself after because I was a shitposter. I always
You
have been.
fanboy.
I enjoyed playing Call of Duty back in the day, I'll admit it. But so it's like a random, like a perk in the game that lets you increase your melee range, and there was a joke about it. Originally a video that was made like 10 years ago now, probably, where somebody used the perk or had the perk on and then flew halfway across the map to melee someone, and I thought that was just the funniest shit. Yeah, put a meme in the meme jar, I'll find one. But so I named myself after that, Commando, with 5 N's and 5 O's specifically, because that was the maximum you could get on an Xbox gamer tag. So I just have been using that ever since, but then like beginning of this year, middle of last year, I switched it to Comn and shortened it because it sounds better. And that's the story.
And now it's Comchan, the sexy cat girl idol.
No,
I have not changed it to that.
I'm
I
gonna
am
meme
just
jar you for
Commando.
that. We have Owo on 4, Kata on 2, and Comnyando on 1. It's not too bad. I think I owe myself a meme.
How many do I have?
4.
Oh, dang! I hate my Australian senses. It makes me
Yeah,
all the time.
I know I owe myself one, so I'm gonna add one. But yeah, that
Yeah, you British pop.
interesting. So I think I might ask that question again if we get some new people on, because I think that's definitely an interesting one. I feel like your online username says probably a bit more about you than you'd like it to. So I think it's
Yeah.
and some of us have
Mine-
some kind of odd backstories. So yeah, it's nice to talk about. So thank you for that suggestion, Con.
You're welcome.
Anyway, now considering we talked about Pluto for less time than we've talked about the other planets, we actually have time this week to play a game. So I hope you're
Oh wow.
all awake and functioning. Perhaps
to
a bit,
talk about with OO.
Never.
perhaps a bit better than I am, and I'm going to really struggle with this because I'm very bad at articulating things. But
It's alright, as long as it's not a
Um,
typing game, we'll be fine.
as long as it's not, pardon?
As long as it's not a typing game, I'll be fine.
Oh no, it's not a typing game. Don't worry.
Excellent.
I'm good at typing. I am not good, however, at speaking for long periods of time without hesitating or deviating from the subject or repeating words. So this
Oh
is
no, one of these games.
yes.
Oh,
So
damn it.
Dash
Uh-oh.
skip.
I think I know where this is gonna go.
this is a game which I have not at all stolen from another BBC radio program, where I will give whoever wants to start a topic.
I'm gonna take this show down for copyright infringement. It's like, yeah, you
I'll
keep stealing
start.
our content.
I will give someone a topic and they will attempt to speak for a minute or however long they can without hesitating, deviating from the subject, or repeating any of the words
Oh no.
in that you say, apart from things like and I and whatever, and the words of the topic. So say if I said talk about chocolate candy or something, then you could say the words chocolate and candy as many times as you want, but don't repeat anything else.
Cool.
If we ever get
difficult.
good at this, the way that the game is meant to work is that everyone else interrupts them when they think they've made a mistake, and then it passes over, and the person who's speaking at the end of the minute gets a point. But I don't think it's going to last that long, so we'll just see how we go. Does anybody
Yeah.
particularly want to start?
Sure.
Tom, you
Let's
can
get it
start.
over with.
Okay.
Can't
Which
go
of
much
these
with.
topics can I give?
Please, no.
Oh,
Which of
I
these
know.
topics can I successfully
Right.
steal?
You have 1 minute, or as long as you can.
As long as I survive.
As long as you survive. Yeah, actually, let me put up a stopwatch just so I can...
Oh wait, can we not use any of the words that the person in front of us used?
Oh, no, you can...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use those.
Yeah.
But... Oh, I can't find my
Are,
stopwatch.
are we
Let's not do
playing
it.
with
I'll
those
just-
rules, though?
Well, we can switch over if you think we'll be good enough, but I'm not sure if we'll make it. So...
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm not confident in my ability.
Like, are you trying to kill
So,
us?
instead, how about we just try and time how long everyone can get?
Alright.
But a
I was gonna
solid
go on
5
for like 3 hours on one of these topics.
And I can't actually find a stopwatch on my phone, so I'll just count. Com, you have a minute or however long you can go for to talk about Japan. Go.
Japan is actually a really cool place. I arrived here on Sunday, and I've been traveling around by train ever since. First, I visited Tokyo, which has a bunch of cool districts, including Ikebukuro, Shinjuku, Akihabara, which is the one about a lot of anime. Although there is also a lot of anime in one of the districts I mentioned earlier, but I'm not going to talk about that name again because that'll excuse me.
You already said anime twice.
God damn it. All right, I lose.
You lasted about 15 seconds though, so that's not too bad.
It's hard.
That's pretty good. That's a good first try. Yeah.
Alright,
Does
who's up
anyone want to
next?
go next?
I guess
I'll
I'll get it
try.
over with.
Casa.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead, Cutter.
You can talk for a minute about photography. Go.
Photography is something I have never done in my life because it's not something I would ever want to do, and not. Fuck.
Hesitated, and you're done.
That was 11 seconds. You also repeated.
It's hard.
You also repeated something, so you know. Yeah, I don't know why I'm criticizing you so badly. I would be absolutely awful at this.
I'll give you a bad topic, huh?
Oh yeah,
See what
I'm happy to do it last if everyone else has a go. Who wants to go next? Think, Catherine.
I'll go next.
Rabbit.
Oh no,
Okay.
Ooh wanted to go.
Okay, you can go.
It's going.
Uwu?
Unless you don't want to go.
Let's go.
Okay, going, and you can talk for a minute about food. Go.
Food is great, especially when it's from the trash. And sometimes when I'm outside, I eat off the ground. And sometimes I can snort peanut dust.
Said
and
sometimes.
tackle
You said
flies.
sometimes twice.
Sometimes.
Well,
Sometimes.
I did okay.
That was 13 seconds.
Better than Kata.
So better than Kata, but not as good as Comn.
I will mood Pluto.
Please do not.
Rabbit,
Ceased.
Pluto.
you want to go
That
up
is against
next?
the rules.
Make sure to put him in the right channel. That's all.
I'll go next.
Okay. You can talk for a minute, not really, about computers. Go.
Alrighty. Computers are powerful objects that can calculate things. My computer is named Madoka, and she is able to make videos about things like the planets and stuff quickly, and much more quickly than
You repeated quickly.
damn it.
Quickly.
That was 24 seconds though.
That was pretty good. That was
That
good.
was nicely done.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I'm impressed with
We
that.
need at least like 10 seconds to sync.
So Link, it's your turn.
We like, talk about mods.
Boy,
I was gonna say you can talk about
everything got deleted.
Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda.
Zelda.
Anime. Let me talk about anime.
No, I have a topic.
You
I'm just
play
waiting for
Legend
you.
of Zelda and your name's Link. Fail.
I'm gonna say Link. You can talk about social media for a minute. Go.
That thing you suck at.
Debatable. Anyway, social media is a tool that can be used by many different people, from companies to single individuals to groups with a common project, such as our anime here. It can be used for many different things. Some social medias allow you to post photos. Some social medias only allow you text. Excuse me for a breath. Some social medias also allow you to post videos, such as like YouTube or other things like that. Twitter is one of the ones that is each social media has their own style in how they do it with their own special tool. For example, Twitter, they use mostly text with a limited amount of characters, whereas
repeated
Instagram
text.
focuses specifically.
I hate to
Oh.
interrupt
Yeah, you
you.
said
But you said
used like a lot.
yeah, you said used quite a bit, but used is one of those words that you kind of skip over because
Used
it becomes
is, yeah.
it becomes impossible.
Yeah.
Whereas things like text, it's like yeah, you did do
How
that was pretty much 34 seconds. So
That was very solid.
How can you make a paragraph about social media and be so bad at it?
Yeah.
Getting better.
Why is that link?
so we've
At
got
At least
Link
it makes posts.
Link in the lead
I
with
didn't.
34 seconds. Rabbit second with 24, Comn with 15, Uru with 13, and Kata with 11. So
All right.
Still better than Kata.
yes, I'm ready.
Your turn.
Flower, get like a full minute with this.
Talk about Soul Studios for a minute.
Yeah, sure. Go for
Is that what you're going for? Okay.
Go for it.
Soul Studios is an anime group of random people that met on the internet because a guy decided that he wanted to make a animation about a meme, and for some reason a lot of people joined and we ended up having a lot of fun. We meet once a week
A
to
lot.
Did I repeat a lot?
Yeah.
A
Aha!
lot of people joined it. A lot of fun.
And people.
How long was
But-
that? Was anyone timing?
13 or 14 seconds.
Probably like, yeah.
That was better than I thought I'd do.
It was good.
That's
What
good.
do I get for losing?
Uh, Yeah,
An immeasurable
What do I get for
sense of
being
shame.
second?
yeah.
I
Shame.
have to shamefully lewd Comn.
No, that is
Thankfully doing that. We
not
all
at
know
all.
you have
That's
no
my-
shame in doing
That's
that.
my punishment. I have to lewd Comn in shame.
We all know you are
Shame.
not shameful of this action.
Why?
as your punishment.
Why?
You do not get to do it at all. That is the ruling. Anyway,
Final lewd Pluto then.
No.
I think
That was
I've
just
subjected
going.
you all to enough mental torture for that. And now we've had a practice, maybe next week, and whoever comes on will better be ready. We can play a proper game and shout buzz instead of just go, I think you repeated, because, yeah. And I think that was cool.
Actually.
I'm surprised how well we did. So, that's about it for this Pluto podcast. Thank you for joining us,
Best
Uri.
podcast.
If you want to say anything
Yes.
else, you've got a couple of minutes, but we can wrap things up.
Pluto is a planet.
Long.
Pluto is a planet. I'm making it the last word.
Okay, Pluto
Massive
may not be a
disagrees.
Pluto is a
planet,
planet.
but
Pluto
Mercury is a
Pluto
trap.
is a planet. And Pluto is a planet.
All right.
Mercury is a trap. Pluto is a planet.
Mercury is not a trap,
No.
The ship.
and Pluto is
Mercury
not a
is not a
planet.
Planet.
trap.
Mercury's a trap.
But we will.
Mercury is a trap.
Order.
Don't do me not
I
again.
object. There is no proof.
Thank
Pluto.
you all for coming and joining us on this sciencey adventure and allowing me to subject you to mental torture.
Oh wait, before we go,
Mhm.
what planet are we doing next week?
I completely forgot. I didn't write it down. That's a good point. Yes. Does anyone here have any suggestions on who they want to say next week?
Carries.
Neptune.
Preferably one with an American voice actor, because that way
Oh.
I don't have to make the
Americans.
Australians wake up.
Earth.
I could
How
talk about
about-
Earth, but it depends what you
Have we
guys
talked
want.
about Uranus yet?
If anyone in the chat. No, we haven't
No,
done
I don't
Uranus.
think
yet.
Do Mercury?
Mercury, I'm sure
Uranus.
Pecan would like to talk about Mercury.
Mercury
Yeah.
is a trap.
Mercury sounds like a good
I
idea.
am
If you have
a
any
trap.
suggestions or objections in chat, let us know, or shout at us in general, space discussions,
Please
whatever.
don't
But
tag us. Ever.
Hey,
no, I
Get
didn't.
Venus on.
If you have a question, just add here in general.
No.
No.
Please don't do
Everyone.
that. If you have a suggestion or a question, please just post it without any tags in space discussions. I read it. I promise. I do.
At Comn in NSFW, and he will reply happily.
Don't
No,
at me.
I'm not
Be
going
sure
to
to,
condone this.
be sure
Don't
to
do
attach a picture of his naked body so he
No.
knows this.
Don't do that.
None
I
of
know.
this,
I know what
and
plan we
especially
can do
not on
next week.
Twitch. Kata, you are having an extra free memes for the meme jar.
I will provide some for you to attach.
And no, that is
No.
enough. And with that, we should probably end it off here before we get banned. So thank you for joining us this
Pluto is
week.
a planet.
Thank you for joining us, Uru, especially, and Com for keeping me in line as usual. Thanks, Kata. Thanks, Link. Thanks, Rabbit. It's been all from us. We hope you enjoy the next week, and we'll be back again American time next week to talk about Mercury. So that's it from
Remember,
us.
Pluto isn't a planet.
Bye.
Pluto is a planet.
Bye-bye.
Pluto is a planet.
And
Pluto is a
remember,
planet.